So our next assignment is called the 9 line, and it has to do with 9 straight lines that go off of the edges, all for it. They cannot stop in the middle, or they can't curve or bend or turn. They have to be straight. So you can turn, you can go right or left, but they have to go off the edge, come back up, go across to another edge, straight lines. So, and the game is, or the puzzle is, to go over, under, around, and through. What happens here when you put a line down and you put another line down next to it? Sometimes it turns into a thicker line, or the negative space becomes a line. Proximity has to do with a line that's so far apart. You say you have a line that stops and starts. If the line gets too far apart, you visually cannot read it. So it reads as 2 lines. So then we say, well, then you've got 2 lines. So we can start off with 1 line. It can quickly dissolve into 2 lines, or you break the rule and it stops in the middle of the page. So with some limitations here in building and creating some structure, these 9 lines go over, under, around, and through. Some things that can happen as these sketches evolve. Now you're going to be doing 8 thumbnail sketches. From those thumbnail sketches, you're going to choose 3. Now this assignment is one, I think, probably your first very major assignment. The multiple lines assignment did not take as long. It introduced the principles of design, talks about abstraction, overlapping. This one takes it a step further. So when you're doing your preliminary sketches, your thumbnails, these are where great ideas are born. Whether you're whatever industry you go into, whatever design industry you go into, or how you apply design in your daily life, the first idea is never the best. So you want to go and research through these sketches, these thumbnails, and they should be about 2 by 2 inches on each on a sheet of paper, and play with these 9 lines and see if you can solve the puzzle over, under, around, and through. And then after we select together, again, I'll give you some feedback. You tell me which ones you like. I'll tell you which ones are working and which ones are not. And then we'll blow them up to 3 sketches. Now, we're not going to put them all on one sheet of paper unless you have an 18 by 24 inch drawing pad there at home. We are working with smaller paper. So I'm going to ask you to do the 3 that you're seeing here on the side of the designs. We'll do those on a separate sheet of paper. So then your design itself will be a 14, say a 13 by 13 inch square, depending on the size of the paper again. So we begin to explore in these preliminary sketches what happens when you break these things up. You want a variety of shapes. I think when the shapes get too much alike and some of these compositions they're not as interesting. So you want to vary the design, vary the size of the shape, the thickness of the line. You want some lines to go over and some are going to go under. And as you play with this, you see how this really does work and come together. I think one of the toughest one of the hardest things is to understand that your idea that's in your mind, sometimes as you're developing and working, there's always this interrelationship that happens from one line to another. So it's just that way with life. It's with anything. You can apply the principle anywhere you go, that everything is relating to something else, and they're all interlocking. And so as your experience and even your memories change as you go through life, and you have a new reality or new situation that happens that actually is influencing your memory, from the past. So you can take the same idea or notion that everything is interlocking, and so one line can literally change the other line. So as these develop, we'll see how things start to play and relate to each other. So we narrow it down. It doesn't happen in one evening. It's going to take a couple of evenings or afternoons working on just the thumbnail sketches. And then things start to start to happen. It's really, really exciting. So in this last example, I wanted to go ahead and circle one of the compositions and talk about what happens when you play with positive negative space, how one line, and then you have to decide, is that one line a thick line or is it a shape? Are there two edges, or does it read as one line? And that's the bottom line, is that after we look at it, does it read as one line? And you count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines. Some are diagonal, some are overlapping, some are thicker than others, some stop in this strong diagonal that runs across the page. You have the black negative space and you have a white positive space. So what happens here, you have positive and negative space. I apologize, my dogs, I had to stop and start back up here. Dogs were barking. That's what happens when we are working out of our house now. But let's go ahead and go back to this one for a minute. And if you'll notice how the white line, it goes all the way through, even though, or the line goes all the way through, but it disappears visually. It can disappear if you back up and look at the design. It's disappearing into this white space, but it does solve the problem. The line does continue from one end to the other, from one edge to the other. It's just that it goes lighter, so it changes in its appearance in relationship to everything else around it. So with this, we're going to stop and we're going to jump into the assignment, and we're going to see what happens. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.